worries.
No worries at all. It is A-okay.
All right. And we are live. Welcome back to Sister Soul Sessions, everyone, where we are elevating entrepreneurs one conversation at a time. I am Brittany.
And I'm Brandy. So tonight's episode is going to be a little different because we are stepping into a world that blends art, science, identity, as well as memory. We're talking about fragrance, everyone.
Yes, and not just fragrance. We're talking about legacy through scent. Our guest tonight is the founder of BlackCliff Parfums, Mr. Tomilson Bynoe, and we have his perfumer here as well. Kyle is joining us, and it's going to be a really exciting episode. His luxury fragrance house was inspired by the natural beauty of Barbados and the idea that scent can transform perception and elevate how we experience the world.
And so together, you needed to say something, Tomilson?
Hi to your audience.
Yes.
So
and you guys can definitely.
You know what?
Thanks for having us.
Yes, no, thank you guys so much for joining us. If you guys would, we would just like for you to go ahead and introduce yourselves. Let us know a little bit about your backgrounds, and we will get into this interview. Thank you both.
Oh, thank you. I'm Tomilson Bynoe. I am the founder and creative director of BlackCliff Parfums. We are a fragrance-based luxury fragrance house out of Barbados. Really, we have been on the market now. This year is going to be 5 years. And it has been a wonderful journey for ourselves as a new perfume brand to the niche luxury space. But a journey that we continue to enjoy. So, if you're looking for something that is completely different, scents that transform, scents that elevate, scents that tell a story, both in terms of the narrative and the way we create, and also the expression that scent brings to you and your skin, then most definitely BlackCliff does that. We are about presence.
And I'm Kyle Cannonberg. I'm the lead perfumer for Tomilson's brand BlackCliff. I've been a perfumer for over 10 years now. And before that, I was an art director in television and film in Los Angeles.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well, big jump. Thank you both. Thank you both for the introduction. Now, we read that the idea for BlackCliff came during a conversation about fragrance, Tomilson, that kind of sparked something in you. Can you take us back to that night when the concept for BlackCliff was born?
Yeah, sure. So again, I really began my fragrance journey as a fragrance collector. And I got into the niche world. And the thing about niche is, I always say it's like a rabbit hole. When you start collecting niche, you become absorbed in this world because it's a completely different style and experience from my perspective of fragrance. The perfumery that I bought most of my collection from, myself and the owner became very good friends, and he just sent me a shipment of stuff for me to go through, smell, and give my opinion on. And for me, when I start spraying, I'm a bit of an oversprayer. It sends my wife berserk, so she put me out, told me, outside the house, go outside and spray. And I'm outside, we live on a cliff, and I'm talking to him as I spray. And in giving him my impression of what I was smelling, he said to me, your sensory palette has developed to a point where you're not telling me about what I've sent you. You're telling me more about what you want to create. Have you ever thought of doing this? And it was something I thought about, at length. And I said, yes, I have. And he said, well, what would you call it? And the name really just came together. I'm outside. It's a dark night. I'm on a cliff, and I call it BlackCliff. And that's really where the name began, So it's really rooted, the name BlackCliff is really rooted very much in the origin of home for me, Barbados, but more specifically the cliff that I live on. So that's really where the origin story began.
That is beautiful.
It is.
You didn't have to go far for inspiration. Like it's right in front of you, you know.
And so a question for Kenny. So perfumery is fascinating because it sits right at an intersection of chemistry as well as creativity. So for people who have never seen this process before, what does it actually look like to create a fragrance from scratch?
Is that one for me?
That's for me or
Yes,
Kyle?
Kyle.
Okay. What is it like to create a fragrance from scratch? Okay, great. Good question. So I have a background in chemistry. Originally, my undergraduate degree is in chemistry, and then after I left school, decided I didn't want to do bench chemistry. I wanted to do something else. So I went to Los Angeles, did that whole thing for 20 years, and then came back to chemistry. But to answer the question of like how do you formulate, or how do you come up with is that the question? How do you come up with the
fragrance?
Yeah. Fragrance? What's that process like? Okay, so well, it's surprisingly it's less chemistry and more storytelling and creativity.
Okay.
There's a good. I have a little bit of an edge because of the rigorous math that I did in my degree, because there's a lot of math in perfuming and understanding percentages and kind of powers of 10 basically. So when I'm working, I really focus on the story that we're trying to create. And because I've studied for so long and know the materials in the perfumer's organ really well, I am able to like select things not only for their inherent scent, but also maybe like texture or feel to things to create the overall experience. So when we're breaking down a fragrance or making a fragrance to begin with, we start with the story. So Tomilson will tell me what he wants the fragrance to feel like. And then it's very hard to describe a fragrance in the English language because we don't have a lot of words that are specifically dedicated to
your scent.
So we use everything else. Like I know Tomilson and I will use a lot of time like music and music videos.
I love that.
Or stories that he comes up with to kind of paint the story. And now we're kind of at the point where there's quite an easy shorthand between us. So once I get that from him, then I go to the drawing board and I start to sketch out on paper what I think that fragrance should look like and the formula should be. And then we start doing trials from there. And then we send them back and forth and do modifications. And then he settles on one that is exactly what the story he was trying to tell.
I love that. So you guys are really describing the emotion of scent, you know, like they say scent is like the strongest thing tied to memories or emotion or music. So I love that that's where that comes from. And you guys have that connection where you can hear what he's saying and then develop something that would smell like that music that's playing or memory. So that's an amazing way to think of how scents are even created because, yeah, I never really think of that. In my mind, it was, you know what, I passed by this flower garden. I love gardenia. That would mix well here or something. So I love the way you guys have the storytelling behind it. And it's so detailed for you both. Now, from what I smelled, I kind of want to get into what we got, the samples, and how you guys actually develop this, speaking of music and things like that. Sure. And Kyle, this one's for you because, you know, you're the guy that has to create it from his mind. Oh. So and my favorite right now is Vanilla Siren. So what do we hear or what memories come? And this could be for either one of you. What memories come when you guys hear of that scent or that comes up to you?
Yeah, well, I'll start it back with this one. Again, Kyle, everything that we do starts from a place. It's either a place of my perspective on something, an experience I've had, or something that I'm very passionate about. And Vanilla Siren really came out of a visit myself and Kyle had. We were in the US for a show, and during the downtime, myself and Kyle paid a visit to a perfumery. And as we like to do, you know, whenever we get a chance and we're together, we try to make sure that we spend some time smelling what's happening, and encourage our senses. And it was so interesting because we went into this perfumery, and either Kyle or myself, I can't remember who it was, but we ended up trying to smell as many vanilla type
Okay. Yeah.
fragrances as possible. And the thing about doing that is that you end up with a vanilla overload, when you're finished, because the amount of spraying of various vanilla scents. And as we left the perfumery, it sparked an idea for me. And that idea was, hey, Kyle, I really want to create a vanilla scent, which represents, in a sense, a melancholy of what we were experiencing, but done completely different. And that's where the idea began for Vanilla Siren, so that the name really fits the scent. It's a siren of scent. Okay, it really creates a very interesting message, and like a siren, it draws your attention.
Draws, yes.
And
sure.
And this is not an emergency telling you to get out of the way. This is an emergency telling you, come this way. With Vanilla Siren. So that's really where that one began. And the one thing about that scent, which Kyle was very much instrumental in being able to create for me with that, was with that one, we wanted a vanilla which was dry, but yet still it had a gourmand connotation to it. So it was sweet, but it did not feel gummy or jammy.
Yeah.
And to do that, and Kyle can tell you about the magic behind that, but there's a particular note that's instrumental in that, and that's the caraway that Kyle used there, caraway seed. But yeah, so that's my perspective on it, Kyle.
Yeah, I agree with you. So when we were talking about it, and we were thinking of it in the name Vanilla Siren, like we think of a siren calling you out to sea and luring you in. And since there's so many vanillas out there, and with the line really was calling for a vanilla, but we didn't want to do something like Tomilson was saying that was very gourmand. And so I said, well, let me take a shot at it. Let me see what I can do that will be different. And so we talked about Palo Santo, and Palo Santo kind of having this very holy rounding, but also Palo Santo has this very high-pitched note to it in my brain that needs to be tempered. And I thought caraway seed would be a very interesting way to ground it. And I've noticed that I have never seen another vanilla scent that really kind of like brought caraway seed to the forefront. And a lot of people have very interesting reactions depending on where they are in the world or where they grew up, because caraway seed is very, it's a important culinary spice.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to watch people, but everybody has kind of the same feeling of, oh, it's vanilla, but it's not cloying and it's not juvenile. It's very grown up.
Right. Yes, I felt the spice in it, but I got that nice vanilla undertone, but it wasn't sweet smelling. I was like, this is so different. Yeah, that's my favorite one.
Oh,
so I love the story behind it, because it was something palatable, but it hit every note like that, just like you would like food, the umami, it was spicy, it was sweet. So I really love that one. So great. I love that. Caraway seed. Thank you.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite ones to make for sure. I really, really enjoy that one.
So on the topic of fragrances, Beautiful Monster. So I found this one really interesting because it does blend like spice and woods. So we read that it has bergamot, cinnamon, cedarwood, patchouli. So Tomilson, what was the emotional story behind Beautiful Monster?
So Beautiful Monster, really, for us, again, we create not only with a story, and also with music. And Neo has this song, She's a Monster, Beautiful Monster. And that's what started the roots, and this is the storytelling roots for this song. So this song really speaks to the experience of this individual when you see this individual, you perhaps can be a bit intimidated, the whole experience, and obviously how the individual can be as well. But this scent really, although it's called Beautiful Monster, I think it does something in reverse. It's really monster beautiful because it begins and can begin very intimidating. The initial notes that you smell, right? That birch tar, it can be a bit intimidating. And then as the scent develops, it tells a story, and the scent really dries out into this beautiful, uh, cedar wood, but geranium note, which is a beautiful highlight for that scent. And so that's Beautiful Monster. It's a scent then that does something very interestingly. It growls and then it sings both at the same time, right?
I
Kyle?
love that.
Go ahead, sis.
And just kind of playing off of that, Kyle, like what Tomilson was saying, how do you balance those types of layers so that they evolve over time on the skin? Like, what's the science there?
That's interesting. So, well, everything has its, and there's a couple of things with materials. It has an impact and it has a longevity, and an inherent smell. So the impact is like how it hits you in the nose. Like, is it hard hitting? Is it soft? Is it like wide? Is it narrow? What kind of vibration does it have? And then longevity is like how long the material will last until you can't perceive it any longer. So with Beautiful Monster, you have this beginning of it as what's the best way to describe it? Kind of musically, it's this discordant chord. So you're like pounding on this piano keyboard, and it's almost like a little bit like jarring, and it grabs your attention. And so that was the initial like grab, or these materials that were a little bit bold and a little bit like punchy.
Punching.
And then there's a technique that we use is like this. I was describing it to a client the other day, and I was talking about the long shadow of materials and how you can overlap materials and their long shadows so you can get them to make it feel like they're extending into each other or pull them in a direction. He also called it like shingling them. And I was like, oh, that's kind of an interesting way of thinking of it. But you do that so that you can have that initial shock, and then they kind of fade a little bit, but then there's other things that will then pop up and reveal themselves as these those loud impacting materials dip down below perception, and then these other ones will come up and you can smell them because they last a little bit longer than those other materials. And so it's kind of like this dance of trying to figure out how quickly can we like grab your attention, and then and then this other part kind of creeps up and you can see it. So that was kind of in my mind, how I put it together.
Yes, a beautiful symphony. I love that because you do get that punch note, the lingering of it. Yes, very beautiful. I love the way that you describe it as well as the shingles, because yes, it's kind of a layered, but everything holds together. Now, with that, Kyle, how do you get the idea of mixing the playful sweetness with like deep smoky notes? Like, where does that come from? Because that's what I felt was different with the scents that you guys had. It was both all the time with everything. I didn't even know which one. I'm like, well, could a male wear this? Is it just is it unisex? Because you do get both those notes. Where does that come from?
This all comes from Tomilson's brain.
I love it.
He's a fantastically prolific creative director, and he's very good at describing what he wants. I am just, someone playing the music for him. He's writing the music, and I'm just like putting it down on paper and playing it back to him. That's kind of, I think, our relationship, if I had to like visualize it,
Yeah.
Once in a while, like I'll be able to improvise, like we're just talking about in Vanilla Cyrite. I'll be able to improvise and do some jazz and stuff like that, kind of like throw my spin into it. But like I said, he's got a really clear vision about what he wants and what he wants BlackCliff and the BlackCliff fragrances to be. So he's the He's the creative one.
You're the mastermind of that, huh? So
Yeah.
is it always something that is revealed to you, Tomilson, just from home? Or is this now that you have traveled and you pick up scents everywhere that makes that kind of playful balance happen?
I think everything we do is rooted in Barbados. What is Barbadian? What's my take on it? All right. And obviously my take is something that is very much cultured by my origin story. I live on an island, so everything that you smell has a very Barbadian influence to it. All right. But the stories, even if like the concept for vanilla siren began due to a visit, and we were in North America when that occurred. All right. There's still an element of Barbados that you smell, so that even in the dry down of vanilla siren, there's a salted texture or overture that is part of that scent that you get as the vanilla dries out. And again, that's part of Barbados. Everywhere you go on this island, you will smell or have the experience of the sea. So that is something that's very foremost in how we create as well too. Not everything has a salted overture to it or undertone to it, but there is always an element of every scent that we've created that ties back to home, and in this case, Barbados.
Beautiful. And I love that story. It stays with you and you get a reveal of where you're from in every scent. So I absolutely love that you think of that.
So pretty much like, and this is for both of you, Tomilson as well as Kyle, do you think fragrance kind of gives somebody like, I guess, a different personal identity when they wear a certain scent?
Oh, for sure. For sure. For sure. I think for me, and that's why I really got into this at the level that we are in it now. Fragrance has the ability to create a persona outside of the persona that you are or are not. All right. It's almost like a rebirth. You can come out, of the shower or whatever, and from the time you apply a perfume to your body, suddenly your persona can change, and depending on the scent that you're using or where you're headed, it has the wonderful ability to inspire, to add a level of confidence to you. It almost acts for me as a shield, to the person that you are. And it's such a beautiful aura, so there's nothing for me more compelling than having walked through a space and somebody says, oh, what was that? I mean, like, you've left, but you're not there, but you've left your mark. Okay. And I don't think there's anything else in this world that does that like fragrance. Allows you to leave a mark, well beyond when you've left, somewhere. That's an indelible experience, an indelible some contribution, for sure.
For sure.
Leaving a mark even while after you've left.
Yeah. I mean, it's a presence. Fragrance is a presence. And that's what we do. BlackCliff is about presence. It's about the presence of quality materials, the highest quality materials. It's about the presence of handcrafted bottles, because our rock falcons, and you received the discovery set, but our rock falcons are handcrafted as well.
Wow.
So again, it's about the presence of artisan work. And then beyond that, it's also then about the presence of how we create the experience behind the vision that's shared between myself and Kyle as perfumer. And again, all of that creates a presence. And that then presence then translates into the presence you have as the individual wearing the scent, where and when you wear it, it's all about presence.
For sure. kind of piggybacking off of that for you, Kyle,
Yeah.
because you take in this information, I know that you are smelling different scents every day. How do you make a scent that feels memorable enough to become someone's signature scent, or for that to be a final product?
Oh, that's a question. How do I make something that makes sense? You know what? I try not to worry about the outcome. David Bowie, I think, said one time, like, don't play to the judges or don't play to the crowd.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like my philosophy about perfuming. I try not to think about like how it's going to be perceived. I just try to answer and be truthful to the story and the brief that I'm given from the client. And I really let them decide when it's finished and correct for them. I feel like if I try to figure out like how it's going to be perceived, it interrupts the artistry of it, and I block myself from new discoveries or trying anything different, in playing it safe. So yeah, I don't
Is that difficult for you to then kind of be like, okay, whatever you decide, even if you were like, your idea of what they were telling you it smells differently? Or is it just strictly
what they told me smells differently?
Yeah, just to you, like, because I'm sure once you get the story, say you talk to Tomilson and you are like, hey, I think I got it, and it gets sent to him and it's like, hey, this is not the representation.
Oh yeah.
Is that difficult to kind of just?
No,
Okay.
I lost my ego a long time ago.
Okay, so that's the important part.
Working in Los Angeles and Hollywood will cure you of that. But after that's a rough business. So like, I have no ego about it. I just want to serve the people that I'm working for.
Love that.
And unfortunately, this is a much more, I think, interesting and creative field than film and television. It's also much more intimate. I think it's you're working with just usually in our case just one other person. That's Tomilson. I tend to not work with people in groups or creative design by committee. Where there's like 5 or 6 people that all have to agree on something when you're working with them, because that's just going to destroy anything that you're going to do.
Right.
Everybody chiming in and kind of like putting their 2 cents in. In fact, even in like higher level creative direction in film, that can tend to be not a great way to get to an outcome that's interesting and creative. I think that there's plenty of chances for voices like further on down the road, but like in that initial like kind of like back and forth, you really just need like 1 or 2, 2 or 3 people to chat with.
Very true. Yeah, because I could imagine what that would be like to have a committee trying to narrow down a scent that they believe matches this story. So yeah, I'm glad that you guys have this connection.
So that one time, and that was the only time, and then
that was it, huh?
And incidentally, that fragrance has never been released. So.
Oh, okay. So yeah, proof is in the pudding.
Yeah.
Or in the perfume. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Go ahead, sis.
Oh, of course. So on the topic of representation, so luxury fragrance is a global industry, but representation and ownership have been limited over the years. What does it mean for you to bring a Caribbean-inspired fragrance house onto the international stage?
Truthfully, when I got into this, that wasn't what I was thinking. I wasn't thinking that I was bringing, a Caribbean fragrance house to the international stage. I was more thinking I'm developing my perspective on scent. I'm very proud, however, of what it is that BlackCliff now represents, and that is a perspective that the wearing audience and members of the perfume community, specifically the niche community, can now identify as a Caribbean and specifically a Barbadian voice or fragrance house now, which is, not only different, but, on the international level, there are not many of us. So I'm happy to champion that cause. And I'm sure that, brands like myself and the others who will follow will pave the way for many more of, Caribbean scents, and beyond Caribbean scents, many more Black brands as well, to be out there and truly highlighting the excellence of what we are doing, so yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's, and kind of going off of that, because BlackCliff was the first Caribbean fragrance brand to exhibit at the major niche fragrance convention.
Mhm.
What was that moment like for you as a founder? And like you said, in a space that you're not represented in?
Yeah, honestly, I felt very proud to be there. I think what was even more encouraging was that not only were we there, but we were known. We had persons who came to our booth who specifically came looking for us because they found out we were going to be there. And then beyond that, the other sense of pride that came from the entire experience was that everybody who came to our booth left saying the same thing, and that is, I've never smelled anything like this. I've never smelled anything like this. And again, it comes back to something that Kyle mentioned earlier. We don't play to the gallery, and so again, we are we for everyone? No, but we are for someone. We are definitely for someone, and we take pride in playing in that space. So BlackCliff is different. We are different, and again, I was very proud to be part of the change in the fragrance and niche fragrance space, and we were proud to be there for sure.
Now I can imagine. And with that, kind of breaking through those doors, things like that for both of you, looking ahead 5 or 10 years, what do you want people to say when they hear the name BlackCliff?
Yeah, well, 10 years from now, I really want persons to understand BlackCliff the way I see it.
Mm-hmm.
And I see BlackCliff first and foremost as a scent about presence. We are about presence, and as we navigate the space that is the perfume community and the perfume niche world, what I want us to also be remembered for is that we are a luxury fragrance house, and is there a difference? I guess beyond some think that luxury is just tied to the price tag. For ourselves, it's more than that. It's rooted in the format by which we tell a story. It's rooted in the way we make you feel. When you wear a BlackCliff perfume, it's rooted in the pride that we take between creative director and perfumer in crafting what we do, because it really is a journey. It's a journey from the point of penning a thought process to writing notes or note pyramid, to the way the perfumer then interprets that, to the entire experience then behind crafting that scent. Everything is a journey, and BlackCliff itself is a journey, and our scents take you on a journey. And 10 years from now, I want to make sure that that's the experience that people have. It takes you on a journey, right? It's about presence.
For sure. And that kind of plays into what Kyle was saying earlier about the shadows and what that really means and what leaving your presence really is. Like, that's what that image was to me. Like, that's what leaves you after you walk out of a room, or, it is the shadow of the fragrance. So I really love that. And I know that this is what people will be saying about these fragrances. Honestly, like I said, I kind of want to show this. This is the discovery set that we received. This one has a few more scents than the other. So all of their scents that come from BlackCliff, like I said, my favorite is the Vanilla Siren. So we definitely want to encourage you guys to smell these. And the bottles are absolutely amazing. Can you talk a little bit about that and how we got there? I know you said that they were handcrafted. How did we come up with that idea? And then how difficult is that to have a signature bottle as well?
Yeah, well, so yes, they are handcrafted, and what you anybody who has a BlackCliff perfume, what you are holding is our cliff. So this is in the shape of our cliff. So you are actually holding, I like to say, our home in your hands. So again, we've put everything into the experience. All right, we've put everything into the experience, and yes, each of these they're hand painted as well. So yeah, again, this is truly an expression of art, but beyond that, it's also a labor of love, and that's what that rock represents.
That is absolutely amazing. And yeah, I love that, you're getting to hold a bit of home, from where you are. So that really does bring it home and lets people know what they are smelling. And kind of just on the scent side as well, Kyle, what was like a combination to you that you would have never thought of, but actually ended up working together? What are two scents or a scent combination that you're just like, I don't know why this works, but this is amazing?
Yeah, and it's funny that you say that because like the first one that comes to mind is Vanilla Siren.
Oh, really?
Yeah. There's another one that one comes to mind. I think also Sunset Chiffon is interesting.
Yes.
I don't know if we had that in the set there that you're smelling.
No, I don't think it's in her. I don't think it's
No.
in their
Oh,
set.
okay. Well, then I won't mention it. But
Yeah.
I was like, but.
Mr. Pink, too, Kyle. Mr. Pink is one of those too.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Mr. Pink's
Yep.
definitely
Hands down.
great point. Yeah, Mr. Pink is one where we didn't think um, two disparate things like cotton candy and butter and smoke.
Butter, yes. Saffron, right? Smoke, yep.
And an ungodly amount of sandalwood.
Sandalwood.
20% of that formula is real sandalwood oil.
Wow.
So yeah, that one's one that was kind of a surprising mix. But that one took a little while to get to too, because that was a little bit difficult because we were trying to hone in on exactly what it would smell like if if you took pink and you made it a masculine, like, made it feel more masculine, just the color in general.
Mr. Pink, I love that.
And I think the cotton candy element to that and trying to give that a masculine twist, especially in the time and the age of so many cotton candy smells that are out there, from 540, Buckaroo 540 to,
Yes.
Cloud, all of that. There's so much cotton candy out there, especially in all of quite a few in your major stores. So doing some cotton candy that was like a grown-up cotton candy that felt very different was difficult. It was challenging to kind of for that one to come together.
But it was worth it. It is one of our best sellers. So again, sometimes living on the edge, pays off. And again, that's like the cliff. A cliff is on the edge. You are on the edge when you're on a cliff, right? So,
Yeah, there was another one too. We had Flamingo is a big smash.
Flamingo is up there as well. Yep,
Yeah,
it's on the
Flamingo
edge.
was. I remember when we were first working on that one. If I'm not mistaken, we were talking about like sweet pea and tobacco.
Yep.
And I was like, what if they just wasn't feeling it for me? And I was like, what if we just take guava and smash it together with tobacco and just see what happens? Because they're so disparate, but they really worked well together.
They do.
So which one would be each of your favorite scents?
Oh, out of the line, one of our favorites?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I have a couple.
That's a hard one. All of these are like children. You love
right.
Exactly. So it's hard to decide your favorite, but I can tell you what I enjoy wearing, or I tend to gravitate towards most. It definitely usually works out to be Vanilla Siren or Look of Love. Look of Love for me
is my second favorite. Okay.
Yeah, that's my signature scent, Look of Love. And we recently, which you don't have, but we released 2 new scents, and they're part of the private collection. And let me explain what that is. I mean, we do a lot of creating. Not all of what we create do we release And there's some things that I like to keep that I only smell, and this is just me. When I go out, oh, what's that you're wearing? Is that available? No, it's not, And from that vault, we released two of those scents. One was what Kyle spoke to call Sunset Chiffon, and the other one is Spellbound. Spellbound is special to me because it's made using a Barbadian rum accord. So it smells like the scent of rum as it's maturing. And that's special for me because, again, from my cliff, there is a rum refinery, maybe about 2 miles away. And as the rum is refining, you smell it in the air. And the smell is absolutely, it's alluring. It can be a bit intoxicating, that overture, but it's wonderful to smell. And then buttressed against, again, the sea, it is something to really relish. And that scent is about that. Sunset Chiffon also is a beautiful scent. And that scent really was created to mirror the impact of a sunset, watching that sun set, into the sea. And that is a beautiful sight to behold from Barbados, So again, these are things that are, you don't have them in your collection, but they are very much part of the direction of BlackCliff as well too, So yeah.
Excellent. Now we want to give you guys time, and this is something we ask every guest at the end of the show. So either one of you can go first, but we'll give you some time. If you could title the memoir of your journey thus far, what would the title be and why?
The journey of us working together?
Yep. Any part of the journey could be because you have, Kyle, you have quite a journey of Hollywood to this. So yeah, of your journey, because that's what got you here as well.
That's a very good question.
Mine would be, it's never the last chapter.
Ooh.
It's never the last chapter. When you think something's like, this is the end of it, or this is what you're going to do forever, it's never the last chapter. And that goes with like working with Tomilson too. Like it's a sense that we've gone through. We've done so many scents, but it's never the last chapter. I just know that like, oh, there's going to be something else. There's going to be something else.
Yeah.
Else. And it's always something new too, which is exciting. That's what I call mine.
I love that. It's never the last chapter.
Yeah. For me, this may be a bit cliche, but I think is that you never stop till you get what you want. Never stop till you get what you want. And BlackCliff is testimony to that. I mean, and Kyle can tell you, where we are now is certainly not where we began. Even from concept. And again, sometimes it's about not settling until you get what you want. Make sure you get what you want. And that's something that, made sure that we ended up with the rock bottle, the rock falcon. All right. I don't know that there are any other perfume houses out there that actually have a rock falcon. And again, this began because I did not settle until I got what I wanted, and yeah, so that, to me, that's what sums up what we do. We don't settle till we get what we want.
Beautifully said. Thank you both for sharing. I know those would be amazing reads, both of them. So I love that. Thank you so much for sharing. And sis, I'll let you take it away.
Of course. So tonight we learned about fragrance is not just about smelling good. It's storytelling. It's telling a story. It's a memory. It's identity. It's also legacy. And so go ahead, sis.
And Tomilson and the BlackCliff team, Kyle, thank you for sharing your vision with Sister Soul Sessions community. And thank you for sending us the discovery set so we could experience these scents ourselves and develop the personality that I already have with Vanilla Sirens. So I appreciate it very much so. And we just truly appreciate you guys giving us your time. letting our audience know what brilliance you're bringing to the world and the sense that will carry us on for years to come. So I truly appreciate your time today.
Thank you for having us.
Yeah.
No problem.
And if anyone wants to experience these fragrances, definitely you can visit BlackCliff Parfums online. You can also experience the collection for yourself.
Yes. And if you guys would just give a outro for us, let us know how we can reach you, what other projects, anything that you would like to give our audience, we would be happy for you guys to let us know.
Yeah, sure. Well, my closing remarks are that, we're always creating. So, there's always something to come where BlackCliff is concerned. But more importantly, just stay with us, be a part of the journey, and you don't necessarily, even for us, you don't necessarily even have to buy a scent. As long as you are part of the journey, keep following what we're doing. Our success is your success. All right. We put it that way. Kyle?
Yes, I agree. And I'll do a plug for you here too. If you want to meet Tomilson in person, he's going to be in Chicago on the 28th and 29th at an independent perfume expo called Fumed Indie Perfume Expo. You can get tickets at fumedexpo.com. It's going to be a great weekend. There's going to be like 50 brands or 45 brands there. Tomilson's one of them. Come meet him. He's a super fantastic person to chat with.
Yes, no, thank you for letting us know. Yeah, I love that. Actually, that's for my birthday too, so we need to look into that. And thank you both again for joining us. And we'll see you all next time on Sister Soul Sessions. And again, we're elevating entrepreneurs one soulful conversation at a time. It's been a wonderful Friday. Have a great evening. Bye, guys.
All right. Bye.